Welcome to my 2022 reading list. I'm going to provide with you the books that I am hoping to read through in the calendar year 2022. Last year I had the opportunity to read through 79 books. I'm hoping to get maybe around 70 this year after what I was able to accomplish last year. And I would love for you to join me on that journey as I read through these books and review them in 2022. So if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, I'd love you to join the community, subscribe, and be a part of looking at these books next year. And I'd also hope to give you some inspiration to maybe read a few of these along with me in 2022. I like to group my books into a few different categories so that I can sort of evenly space them out throughout the year, so I'm not reading multiple books on the same topic at one time. That gives me some variety in my reading and helps me make it through the year by having more books read by the end of the year. So here are the 30 books that I am hoping to read in 2022. The first category is books that were on my 2021 list that I didn't get to in 2021. You'd think that with 25 books in my list and having read 79, I would have read them all. I didn't. So here are the 4 books I missed on last year's reading list. Why Do We Baptize Infants by Brian Chappell. As someone who grew up with believers' baptism, I don't understand why someone would practice infant baptism. So I'm hoping to get a little bit of an insight as to why someone would find this to be a useful expression of baptism. And then Mary Among the Evangelists by Christian Capes and William Albright. Then Another Gospel by Elisa Childers. I'm almost done with this book, so it'll probably be the first book I complete in 2022, and it's been wonderful so far. And then Eternal Rewards by Lucas Kinchin, which I'm really excited to read another book by Lucas. And then I have 3 books that were recommended by members of my church, and I want to read these books and give my thoughts for the members in my church who asked me to read them. First, I have God Has a Name by John Mark Comer. The Artisan's Soul by Erwin McManus, and finally Hind's Feet on High Places by Hannah Hernard. And then this year I want to read a couple of pairings of books that I'm going to call my debate series, where I read a book that was on a specific topic by one author, and then a different author responds to that first book. And then I want to see what my thoughts are about those 2 books after reading them back to back. So first, I'm going to read Chosen But Free by Norman Geisler, and then I'll read James White's response in The Potter's Freedom. And if you know anything about James White and the online back and forth he's having with Leighton Flowers, I thought it would be appropriate to then follow with a Leighton Flowers book, which is God's Provision for All. And then I'm someone who believes in the free grace theology movement, so I am looking forward to reading Wayne Grudem's Free Grace Theology, 5 Ways That It Diminishes the Gospel. So I'll see what Wayne Grudem says critiquing this view that I have of faith in Jesus Christ, and then I'll read Free Grace Theology, 5 Ways That It Magnifies the Gospel, which was written by various free grace authors. And then finally, I'll read Grudem Against Grace, written by Bob Wilkin. I plan on reading 3 books specifically written on the subject of the gospel of Jesus Christ. The Current Issues in Soteriology, that was written by several different authors. And then Forensic Faith, written by J. Warner Wallace. Really looking forward to that one based on some recommendations from others. And finally, Simply by Grace by Charlie Bing. And then my next category is the Christian life and relationship. So these are books on just how we relate with others. So I have the 6 Secrets of the Christian Life by Zane Hodges, Overcoming Bitterness by Stephen Vars. I hope that's how you pronounce his name. And Everybody Fights by Kim and Penn Holderness. And then I read last year several books on the issues of race and social justice. I'm reading Another Gospel, which sort of falls under that progressive versus traditional views of Christianity and the gospel. And I'll read 3 more books on this subject in 2022. First, Jesus and John Wayne, and then Kingdom Race Theology by Tony Evans, and finally the Postmodern Pilgrim's Progress by Kyle Mann and Joel Berry, which I am really anticipating will be an enjoyable and funny read. Then I'm going to read a couple of books on the topic of biblical prophecy. I'll read Creation and the Second Coming by Henry Morris. I gave a talk on that at the GES conference last year, so I'll be looking forward to reading Morris's book on it. And then The Coming Kingdom by Andy Woods. And then finally, here are some books that are just sort of some odds and ends. They don't really fit in any category, but books I'm really looking forward to getting into next year. Angels and Saints by Scott Hahn. I enjoy reading several books on sort of the spiritual world topic last year, and I want to read one from a Roman Catholic this year, and so Scott Hahn gets it. And then I'm going to read Destroyer of the Gods by Larry Hirado. The Art of Biblical Narrative by Robert Alter. Robert Alter's Hebrew Bible, which I reviewed last year, was wonderful, and so looking forward to reading that book by Alter. Discovering the City of Sodom by Drs. Collins and Scott. And then finally, 7Q5, The New Testament and the Dead Sea Scrolls by Giuseppe Giannaro. Hope I'm saying your last name right, Giuseppe. I'm guessing I'm probably butchering it. But there are the books that I am planning on reading in 2022. I would love in the comments to know, one, what book on my list are you most excited that I'm going to be getting into next year? Also, what books are you planning on reading in 2022? And are there any that you're going to join me that will both be reading the same book next year? And so if you have enjoyed tracking through the list of the books that I'm going to read in 2022, again, I encourage you, I would love to have you subscribe to the channel to be a part of what we're doing here at Rev Reads, with our goal being to get people to be engaged, to be involved, and to be part of the fantastic world of Christian literature.